Half-halt, good boy. Half-halt, good boy. Good boy. So I was trying to say the half-halts out loud so that you could hear them. And what you might notice is that the best half-halts are kind of invisible. You may be watching and you're like, well, what is she doing? I don't really even see anything happening with her horse. But what you do see is that the transitions are more fluid and we're more in harmony and we're more in balance. Hello, in today's video we are learning all about half-halts. If you are new here, hi, I'm Amelia. I'm a Grand Prix rider and trainer, and I train thousands of students all over the world through my unique online training programs. But half-halts are definitely a very mysterious concept. They're one of the most commonly misunderstood terms in riding. So if you're confused, if you don't know what to do when your trainer tells you to half-halt, then you are in the right place. And in today's video, I'm going to show you what happens when you don't have an effective half-halt. I'm going to talk to you about what is a half-halt and which aids you should be applying in order to ride a half-halt. And then I'm also going to invite you to join my All About Half-Halt workshop, where I go into detail everything that you need to know about half-halts and also how you may need to adjust the aids in your half-halts depending on your horse's temperament, whether they're hot or laid back, and also their level of training. This is Mercurio. He is our demo horse for today. Okay, so I'm going to show you what happens if you ride your horse and you don't have any half-halts. And this is what happens a lot, is because your trainer's telling you half-halt, 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 but you don't know what to do. So if you don't have half-halts, everything is a bit haphazard. You could see when I asked for the trot there, how he kind of half picked up the canter. And then if I ask for canter and I don't have a half-halt, again, not bad, because Mercurio's the best boy, but it was disorganized. It was out of balance. And same thing, that downward transition. It's just all over the place. It's on the forehand. He's not guiding where I want him to. So if I ask for the canter and I don't ride a half-halt first, a lot of times what happens is that your horse hollows, they put their head up, maybe they don't canter. So basically, riding without half-halts is like a sentence without punctuation. There's no organization. So what is a half-halt? A half-halt does two things. The first thing that a half-halt does is it gets your horse's attention. And the second part of a half-halt is that it helps to rebalance your horse more onto their hind legs. So horses, when they're standing, they carry more weight on the forehand because their neck is heavier than their tail. And so what a half-halt does is, number one, it tells your horse, hey, pay attention, something's coming. And number two, it rebalances your horse onto the hind end. So let me demo now, if I ride effective half-halts, how that changes my ride. So if I'm walking here and I want to ask my horse to trot, I'm going to take a deep breath. I'm going to move him a little off the inside leg to the outside rein. I'm going to squeeze and then half-halt and trot. And you could see the difference in that transition. It was smooth. It was fluid. It was right on my aids. We stayed in sync. If I'm going to ride to the transition to the canter, half-halt, half-halt, canter. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 3, 1, 2, 3. Good boy. Oops, that was a mistake. That time my half-halt was too strong. And that's part of what happens with half-halts, right? Some of them work and some of them don't. And that's all part of riding and that's all part of training. So let me just practice some canter, trot, canters and work on my half-halt. So if I'm going to trot, I'm going to go half-halt, trot. Good boy. If I'm going to canter, half-halt, 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 canter. Good boy. Reward. Feel the rhythm of the canter. Half-halt. Good boy. Half-halt, half-halt. Good boy. Good boy. So I was trying to say the half-halts out loud so that you could hear them. And what you might notice is that the best half-halts are kind of invisible. You may be watching and you're like, well, what is she doing? I don't really even see anything happening with her horse. But what you do see is that the transitions are more fluid and we're more in harmony and we're more in balance. So the aids that you give for a half-halt is leg through your seat and to your hand. So your half-halts always start with your leg so that you're pushing the energy up through your seat and to your hand. And then your seat and your hands rebalance the energy back onto the hind leg. Now the tricky part about half-halts is that every horse needs a little bit of a different half-halt. And with Mercurio, I needed to use a little extra leg in my half-halt so that when I rode a half-halt, he didn't just think about stopping, but that I was really able to gather the energy to do the next thing. So I hope this gives you a little bit of an idea of some ways that you can use half-halts to improve your ride. When you have a half-halt, this is really what allows you to communicate with your horse and to have those smooth and fluid transitions. Of course, I've just skimmed the surface of talking about half-halts. I want you to check out in the description my workshop all about half-halts where I go into details. You're going to get an hour-long theory lecture on half-halts. You're going to get 10 step-by-step exercises to work on half-halts where I really show you different patterns and different exercises that you can use based on your horse's needs. So if you have a greener horse or an older horse, or a horse that tends to be hot, or a horse that's more lazy, you're going to need to use different exercises to improve your half-halts. The workshop also includes a half-halt demo, which is really cool, where I show you two different types of horses. So one horse that's long and slow versus another horse that's more hot and compact like Mercurio, and how you need to adapt your half-halts for that horse. And that's really the tricky part of half-halts, is that every horse needs a little bit different recipe of seat, leg, and hand, and how much of each of those and the timing of your half-halt is really the art to it. So I hope this video has helped you to understand a bit more about half-halts, and they really are the secret to having harmony and balance with your horse.